All right, everybody, the heart of the yeshiva with their kivak, the soul of the yeshiva to the right. Big inspiration to all of us. Rosh Yeshiva, Rosh Mostos, we have Dovid Kalmus, Shlita.
My grandfather's from Poland, and at 13 years old, he wrapped tefillin for the first time. I think he's actually from the city that Rav Kivak's from. We haven't spoken about it yet, but his last name's Goldstein. Man. We don't He went in at 13, wrapped his tefillin, and he was taken to the concentration camps. His father was killed, his mother was killed, his siblings were killed. He came off the bus, and they told him to go in line. His uncle, who he hadn't seen for a very long time, happened to be there at that moment and told him, "Loser, don't go in that line. No matter what you do, don't go in that line." That line was for death. The other line is if you could work. So my grandfather made up he was a chef. And for 5 years, he worked in the kitchens, and he survived. Throughout the 5 years that he was there, every day like that, something happened. And even though my grandfather's not a religious man, every time I speak to him about it, he said, "Somebody was with me. Somebody was with me." So first, every single one of us, whether you know it or not, has grandfathers like that, has great-grandfathers like that, has ancestors like that. The fact that we're alive in Yerushalayim, Ira Kodesh, making the first ever English-speaking Breslov Yeshiva in the world. Adolf Hitler, Yimach Shemo, he said, "You can't let one boy survive." They said, "Why? Why does it matter so much one boy?" He said, "Because if you let one boy survive, he's going to find that Torah and he's going to start the whole thing over again." He loses, we win. Somebody came to Rav Natan once, Rabbi Nachman's Talmud Muvchat, his main student, and said, "You know, Nasan, you keep going around with that Likutei Moharan, you're going to end up in Gehenna." Rav Nasan said back, "That's fine. I'll take my Likutei Moharan with me and I'll turn it into Gan Eden." 10 years ago, I was in Gehenna. And the only thing I had with me was my tefillin and my Likutei Moharan. I shouldn't be here now. And I'm living proof that Likutei Moharan can turn hell to Gan Eden. This is Gan Eden. 10 years ago, I made a promise to Hashem. I said, "Listen, I've tried so hard in every area of my life, and nothing's worked. Obviously, I can't do it. It means you're going to have to. But if you're really going to do it, then I'm probably going to need to have time every day where I speak to you about everything in my life. How long is it really going to take me to tell you everything that's going on with me? Probably at least an hour." I said, "Hashem, I promise you, I'm going to talk to you for at least 1 hour every single day. And if you switch my whole life around, and not just I survive, but I live a good life, I promise you, I will do everything that I can to help your children do the same. I could say, for the first time in my life since then, this is everything I can do. Thank you. When I first started doing tshuva, I saw so many beautiful things in the Torah. Serve Hashem with simcha. Hashem wants you to celebrate the Chagim. He wants the Jewish people to be together with achdut and brotherhood, that we shouldn't judge one another, that Hashem saw what was in King David's heart and everybody saw on the outside. All these amazing, beautiful things that I resonated with my whole life and I didn't know it was my own heritage. But then when I actually started entering into the religious world, to be quite honest with you, I didn't see it. And it was really confusing for me. And I spoke to many big Rabbanim and they said, David, you just started doing tshuva 5 seconds ago, you don't know anything. Hang around a little bit, you'll see. But when things are off, I can't keep going. I got to figure it out. And I spoke to everybody I could, and I almost mamish gave up on it. And then I spoke to the biggest person who I'd ever spoken to at that point. And I figured he was going to tell me the same thing. He said, David, he looked at me in the eyes, he said, you're right. I said, what do you mean I'm right? He said, you're right, something's missing. I said, isn't that a big problem? He said, yeah, that's what we need you for. This is why we need Baalei Tshuva, to teach us Torah. They have no preconceived notions. There's no cultural aspects that have lingered on. It's all new for them. And Rabbi Nachman says, usher to get old. You're not allowed to get old. You're not allowed to be an old chassid. You're not allowed to be an old tzaddik. Every single person in the Torah that we revere, King David, Yosef HaTzadik, Moshe Rabbeinu, every single one of them is called Na'ar. He's a youth. Not just that he was a youth when he was young. He was always young. And that's how you connect to God. By starting over again and again and again and again. And you might hear that in some nice Divrei Torah, some nice drushim from your Rebbeim, but nothing actually makes you do it. Who gets you to do it? Breslovers say Moshe Rabbeinu gave us the Torah, and Rabbi Nachman gets us to actually keep it. That you want to. When we started making this yeshiva, I was thinking about joining a kollel in Beit Shemesh. I spoke to the rabbi there. He said, what are you doing? I said, well, we're working on making this Breslov yeshiva, but you know, I need some parnasa, and I learn anyway at home. Maybe I'll do it in the kollel. He said, you can't join here. I said, why not? He said, because you have to make the Breslov yeshiva. He's not Breslov. I said, I know, we're working on it. He said, no, this Elul, you need to make it. I said, okay. He said, no, really, we have no other hope. This is hope. Moshe Rabbeinu was called 7 names in the Midrash. One of them is Yekutiel. It means he gives hope. When somebody says no despair, when you saw your therapist and they said, don't give up, and your parents said, don't worry, you're going to get through it. It didn't hit home. But when Rabbeinu Sha'ag B'kol Gadol Ein Shum Yesh Ba'olam L'Olam Klal, what did you do? You believed it. You started over again. What is that? Rabbi Nachman says, when they ask you what you found in Breslov, tell them, Ruach. You found life. You found soul. Adam HaRishon was created in the garden, but guess what? He wasn't alive until Hashem blew in him a nishmat chayim, a soul of life. Ashreinu matov chelkeinu. This is nishmat chayim. And I just want to say to everybody here, thank you so much for coming. Thank you to Rav Kivak for helping all of our dreams come true. Thank you to everybody on the staff for Mesir Nefesh beyond belief. I've had 3 headaches today. I don't know where they're coming from. I'm not sleeping. Rav Tivak asked me before, are you're going to get very tired. You're going to be overwhelmed. You're going to burn out. I said, I'm already burnt out. But this is too important. I love you guys. Thank you for coming. Let's really celebrate. There's only one first. This is the first. And let's make it a first every single day. Thank you so much, guys.